Listen, if you're in Gala, you can't sleep on this. I mean, it's coming to you right now, and there's some pretty big news in regards to speculation on what Gala can actually become at some point. Because, I mean, we've talked on the channel about mobile gaming, we've talked on the channel about their pivot toward a greater sphere, and the real incubation of many different projects into their Gala Games marketplace. My name is Classy Crypto. We're going to be touching base on this as my gaming channel. If you want to support the content on this one, as always, like and subscribe. We're working on couple cool things, so I think you're going to want to be subscribed. But as always, let's get right into this video. Let's go ahead and talk about this. Now, this is Gala's pivot. Gala has been doing a very large pivot as of late. A lot of valuation, by the way, in cryptocurrency, if you're like looking into these things, you're going to notice very quickly that fundamentals have nothing to do with actual value incubation. When you're actually looking at like, okay, this thing's worth 5 cents. I mean, it had less utility when it was worth 70 cents. So why in the world is it worth 5 cents right now? Well, the reason is speculation. People derive a specific amount of value for something. And in fact, if you're thinking about like investing into something, you're not really investing if you're in something like Gala Games. In fact, you're more than likely just doing speculation. Something where you believe something can hit a certain value, and it's definitely a high risk asset that can go really anywhere at the moment. And so when we see an asset like Gala really accrue value as of late through announcements, it really begs the question as to what people are speculating on. And now, the real answer to this really lies into the new strategy Gala Games is employing, and that's really getting their PR out there. If you've noticed, Gala over the past couple months has really only gotten exposure off some specific channels like the Paul Barron Network and some of those other very prominent cryptocurrency figures in DeFi. But it seems like Gala Games here is now beginning to move and mold in a way that is a little bit more geared toward gaming exposure, which I think is super interesting because it's a lot more niches than just going out there and just going off a DeFi protocol, which is nice at times, but sometimes you want to get that extra exposure. And so their pivot over into mobile gaming, I believe, is leading them to go ahead and begin testing new ways of getting publicity out there. It's really interesting, actually, to find something like Gala at this current state. I mean, this token just broke through the top 100 for crypto gaming, and you know, it seems like there's still not a lot of people playing these crypto games. And so what is Gala Games going to be doing to getting, people into crypto games? Well, more than likely, it's just going to be getting people into the actual Gala Games ecosystems through AdSense, as well as a bunch of different partnerships with many prominent brands. I mean, I could see Cloud9 hosting a tournament on something like Spider Tanks, bringing it some short-term exposure and going from there. Now, there's actually been a couple of instances in the past where other very prominent brands, quite frankly, were actually doing some pretty big stuff. I mean, we had Coral and Blinkos go ahead and do something. You can check this out. Mythical Games reveals major fashion music art collabs. Gamers can tune in on Friday, June 18th to watch and even join some of their favorite streamers in Blinkos, including Carl Jacobs' Carl Network. So, there are brands that have existed in the past that have major creators and influencers that are actually covering them. And this is something interesting to talk about because it kind of spins the narrative on, hey, we just need a bunch of big people to play this, and then it's just going to become famous instantly. That's not really how games work. If you have a one-off with someone and you pay $1 million for exposure on this, it doesn't necessarily mean that people are going to end up playing this. You still need a lot of the other basic fundamentals, like having enough resources in the game for people to be interested in this and having a really good first initial user experience, so people actually want to play these games more. It's something that I feel like Gala Games is currently working on. They've recently changed the honor system for Spider Tanks, and for some people that don't play Spider Tanks, probably not a big deal for you, but for people that are playing Spider Tanks for the first time, I still humbly believe that the honor system should be capped up. It should definitely be somewhere around 600 honor, which is half of what the max is, 1200, to be able to get a pretty decent amount of earnings so people can really see what the potential of something like Spider Tanks is. But this is something that is very continuous, right? This is a continuous thing to go ahead and streamline more and more and more what Gala Games is doing. Cool thing, though, is that because they went ahead and acquired Ember Entertainment, they're able to kind of just get the fundamentals of just what a successful game should be with a bunch of revenue numbers and just load in crypto into it and kind of go from there. I've actually been playing a ton of legacy games recently. I actually have really never played chess, and so recently got into chess, and I've been, quite frankly, playing a ton of it. And it's for one very important reason. It's to get some context on what a really successful game consists of. And for the most part, it consists of very simple mechanics. Something like spider tanks, for example, let's say, where you have your champion, which in this case is your little tank, and then you have to go against 3 others. And most of the time, if you're just looking at it and not face value, you're just going to go ahead and be like, okay, well, classy, I mean, you're doing the same thing every game. But it's the little things that get people really hooked into it. Maybe it's the connection with your tank. Maybe it's the fact that you're playing a certain game mode that you really struggle in, but your team really wants you to win this. There's so many different external reasons why somebody could be super excited about something like this. But when I'm playing chess and I'm doing the London system and I'm, getting into the French defense and some of these other, strategies within chess, it really reminds me of what is important in gaming. And the most important thing isn't making a bunch of content. It's about making enough content for a feedback loop to start. And this feedback loop would be something like a battle pass system, or it could be a tournament system every week. Many things that chess.com is actually doing. I mean, if you go onto chess.com's website, they pretty much have tournaments all the time. Every day they have a puzzle. Every day they have a bunch of different lessons. And these are the small things you can actually see, live on Chess TV, a bunch of tournaments there. These are the very small things that games like chess employ to keep people hooked in the long term. You need to be interested in the esports, but to be interested in the esports, you need to know things in the fundamental level. So a lot of these different tutorials and the extremely easy onboarding of literally clicking play 10 minute and then just being in a game instantly is exactly what brands like Gala Games need to do. And I think that they understand this, and that's why they're really moving into mobile gaming. Because guess what? Chess.com can be played with an actual handheld, just board, right? Or you could play it with your phone, or you could play it on desktop like we're doing here. But the thing is, most people will probably be playing chess on their mobile device at this point. So the entire idea behind Gala is to make it pretty much employ a system very similar to something like chess into games like Spider Tanks, which, to be honest, can very well do this. I mean, you could just click one button, press the play button, get in there, and that's it. And then I believe the next game that has 50 million plus players wholeheartedly won't even have the word NFTs on it, because NFTs are cool. I like the technology, but I think the name's just not very friendly for onboarding new people that don't really know a lot about technology and all these different things. So I'm really interested in seeing where Gala is going. I know there's a lot of hype and speculation in regards to where Gala is going, and so that's why we continue to cover Gala, because Gala, to me, is probably the most exciting part of the cryptocurrency ecosystem at the moment, as well as just crypto gaming in general at the moment. So, we continue to cover it on the channel. If you want to support the channel, actually, we have something in the link in the description, as well as in the pinned comment below. Make a free Gala Games account. I mean, it can't hurt. You support the channel based off the commission if you decide to buy anything with our link. And as always, my name is Classy Crypto. If you enjoyed this video, as always, like and subscribe and stay safe, stay classy, and that's all.